to talk about the access to capital and banking?
Yeah. Here we are at CPAC with Congressman Garrett, Financial Services Committee. One of the big issues we are facing community banks, minority-owned banks, is access to capital. The new regulations have made lending much harder. Is this something that you'll be making a large part of the campaign? Kasich has already made this part of his campaign. What are your opinions, sir?
So, regardless of part of the campaign or not, it's been something that I've been focusing on for a while in Congress. As you know, I chair the Capital Markets Subcommittee. We've looked at the aspect of a couple things. First of all, what the role of the SEC is, and they have multiple roles, but one of it is capital formation, and they've been less than intense in doing that. And that's why we've passed a number of pieces of legislation, some just out of this past week, out of committee to try to achieve that. Ultimately, if we're going to see an uptick in GDP in this country, ultimately if we're going to see more job creation in this country, ultimately if we're going to see the number of people who are out of the job market to get back in, and those numbers drop down from historical high levels, you're going to have to see the capital markets reconstitute themselves and grow again. Dodd-Frank is one of the biggest impediments to that. We've been working to peel the layers back from that to try to reform it, and we'll continue working on it.
Because a lot of what Elizabeth Warren put in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has in fact hurt the people, minorities looking for mortgages and stuff. This hasn't been really made clear, and I mean, it's sort of lost in the...
We've tried to make it as clear as we possibly can in committee. We've said it repeatedly. CFPB is bad for the consumer. Take a simple thing as free checking. The amount of free checking has basically dropped them in half of what it once was prior to CFPB and Dodd-Frank coming into effect. And why is that? Because of the regulations on the banks. So the consumer, the average American, the middle-income America, lower-income America has been hurt by Dodd-Frank. CFPB, as you raise, is a huge element of that, and we have passed legislation to try to change that. Those bills go over to the Senate, and I would say the Senate is where all good bills go to die, but we're going to continue to try and fight that.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
Pleasure.